to Cassette Connection, the podcast where we discuss music and meaning with the people who make it. My name is Ben, and with me is Alex.
This episode, we talk to Sydney-based musician Warren Abela. Warren is an electronic producer who currently performs under the alias Intaloopa. In the past, Warren has performed under the name Waza and is part of the duo Goro.
Warren tells us about his journey to starting the Intaloopa project and why he went into the world of Synth-Wave. We touch on his experience in bands and playing as a duo in Goro. Warren tells us about the way he finds and implements samples into his music, as well as some of the inspirations behind his work.
Here it is.
Hi, Intaloopa here. I'm a Synth-Wave producer from Sydney, Australia, and I've just released my new EP titled Derealization. I initially started this project in 2017, and this EP is release number 3 for me. With my music, I like to take the listener on a nostalgic journey, hoping to evoke a memory or an emotion they may have locked away.
Memory. Memories include.
Yeah, so it was around 2017. I was producing under a different name back then. It was a name closer to my real name. My real name is Warren Abela, but my other producer name was called Waza. I was releasing music under Waza possibly for about 5 years, and it started off good, but after 5 years, it felt like, things weren't progressing anymore, and I was, my releases weren't really kind of reaching the audience that I wanted it to reach. And so it was kind of like a turning point for me where I started getting into other kinds of music, because this project was primarily hip-hop music and more sample-based. And I was starting to, I guess my style was starting to change in terms of taste and what I wanted to do. And I guess I was leaning towards the more 80s sound, and I didn't feel that I could blend that into my Waza project. So I just decided to start a completely new project called Intaloopa and just focus on that genre. It was more of a build up to that. Like it just wasn't, all right, I'm going to start doing 80s music now. It was more of like a slow build up. Just like while I was still doing the Waza project, I was getting familiar with other styles of new music. This one particular style called vaporwave. It's basically a style that I think was pretty much like born on the internet, because no one was really like playing it live in the scene. So it was more of a scene that was created on the internet. So I started getting into that, and basically what vaporwave is just taking old R&B songs from the 80s and then just slowing them down. And it just kind of gives it like a weird druggy type feel. So I was listening to a lot of stuff like that, and then just like randomly, I think I was filming a video clip for one of my Waza videos, and I was actually in a shop where I was hiring a new lens for the video shoot, and there was this song playing in the store on the in-house system. It was just like so captivating and just like so moving, and it's just like what's this style, and I asked the guy behind the counter, I go, who's this playing, and he said it's a group called Surfing from Melbourne. So they were doing the more of the vaporwave, synthwave style music. I just felt so emotional listening to it, and so that's how I slowly moved into that style, I guess. For me, the genre, well, the synthwave genre, the 1980s genre, to me, I guess because I was born in the 80s, it's very moving to me, the sounds. To me, I can express more of myself through that sound palette. So I decided to start Intaloopa, and I released my first song called Remote Control in February 2018.
Memories include. Memories. Memories include.
My first kind of solo producer project was basically born in 2013. I just come off the last 15 years playing in live bands, and it was more so just the frustrations of dealing with other members in groups, I guess creativity and butting heads. And so I wanted to break free of other people's, I guess, constraints and just really control my destiny, or just my artistic view as well. I was kind of sick of conforming to other people's ideals. So I started Waza in 2013, and I released a mixtape called Love is a Battlefield, and it was primarily sample based. So basically I sampled just all from old 1950s rock and roll records. So I released that, and from there got a bit of attention from the local scene. So I decided to pursue that style a little bit more so sample-based music. I released a few more singles after that, and gained a bit of attention on Triple J and Rage and other platforms like that, where one of my video clips got added to rotation on Rage. One of my songs was played on the Matt and Alex breakfast show. So I was kind of reaching some new heights I hadn't reached before, but I slowly after that, because it was all sample-based music, I couldn't really release it properly without obviously being scared of copyright, or loading something to Spotify or YouTube and being stung with a little copyright kind of notification. So I started to delve more into my own written music, more so like synth-based beat music. So I did that for a few years, and as I was saying before, I kind of reached I guess as far as I could possibly go with that, and I was a little bit demotivated by the whole process of, I guess, in this music industry, it's so fickle, and you're constantly trying to impress people. So I guess I was a little bit exhausted, and I wanted to start, I guess, a new project where I wasn't really thinking about all the accolades and stuff like that. And that's how Goro was born, with my friend Tony, aka Caustic Yoda. Basically, so Tony, he's pretty much the guy that I started making electronic music with about 20 years ago. And so he's kind of been my musical friend over the years, and he played in some of the bands that I used to be in, and so basically Tony was engineering my music, or mixing and mastering it. And so I guess in the mixing sessions of my previous music, he was actually mixing one of my albums, Crooked Jaw, under Waza. And I had this song on me, and I was like, Tony, this song kind of sounds like one of your songs. And then he had the idea of the concept of Goro is basically two tracks on top of each other. So it's basically kind of two produced tracks working parallel with each other. So that's how that was born. And the main focus of that was to start a group, to have fun and not really think about, radio play or those certain types of accolades. And since then, we've released an EP on vinyl, a 7-inch vinyl called The Diffuser. And we also just released a cassette called Neuron Control, 2 songs on that. The best way to describe it is kind of like scatterbrain, where it's just like random sounds, like live instruments, samples coming in and out at you in one go. And it's it's really hard to explain. You have to hear it.
Memories include.
Something about the 80s just is just, I guess because I was born in 1981, and for some reason every time I hear like one of those synth lines or something, I guess it just takes me back to a time, I guess, you know, when things were a little bit more simpler in life, and I guess the golden years of your childhood, and I guess more so the nostalgia. So I think, you know, a lot of emotions were arising when I was hearing this type of music, like vaporwave, and also some of the synth-wave artists that I was starting to listen to, like Surfing, Comtrues, Chrome Sparks, Odessa. It was just like, I guess, igniting these emotions in me. So and also my father passed away from bowel cancer, and I guess I had a lot of emotion in me, and I really wanted to let it out, and I didn't think I was able to do that in the form of hip hop music, because hip hop music is fairly kind of groove based and more upbeat and more of a I guess not so much party, but more of a good time music. But I guess what I was going through, I guess I needed something to let it all out, like in terms of like maybe like a cathartic experience of just, you know, being by myself and just being taken away by a synth line, and that, I guess, putting that sound to a memory or an emotion. I just felt like I wanted to, I guess, be an artist and portray my feelings with sound. Well, firstly, I guess, you know, Synth-Wave is all about that 80s sound. So I acquired a keyboard that was manufactured in the 80s. It's a Korg Poly 800. It was made in 1984. So that's my primary synth that I go to kind of start a song. So basically, I'm basically searching for sounds and just scrolling through and just waiting for something to kind of, you know, gain my interest and, you know, kind of catch that vibe. So basically, once I kind of find a sound, I start basically just running through different chord progressions until I find something that's more so possibly the hook of the actual song. Because I don't really have an idea when I go into the studio. I'm trying to just pretty much catch something, you know, in thin air. I start with the synth line, and then after I find something that I think is worthy of continuing, I'll then go into Ableton and sequence up. A drum kit that I like to use is the Roland TR 505. It has that really kind of noticeable 80s kick and punch to it. So from there, map out the basic, I guess, structure of the song via MIDI. And the reason why I like to do it in MIDI is I don't want to kind of commit to any sounds when I'm writing. So I'm able to cut around, drag and drop the different patterns. And then if I'm not feeling the synth patch anymore, I've got the MIDI notes in there and I can just scroll through the different sounds. Basically start to layer on top of that. So once I have the main bed of synth in there, more so like a very paddy sound, I would start to introduce the bass and then also more leads. And then also maybe start experimenting with the different sections of the songs, whether it be the bridge, or the breakdown, the ending, or the intro. So once I've kind of got that base there, I'll probably start looking for a vocal sample. And I try and find something on vinyl first. I might just dig through my collection, and I try and find possibly an 80s a cappella or any record that has an a cappella on there, more so female. It all depends. Like it's kind of like digging for samples. You don't know what you're going to find. And most of the time, you go looking for something and then, you find something else. And it's pretty cool. I guess it's cool how, because digging is more primarily a hip hop term, and a lot of hip hop producers do that. So it's kind of cool when I go digging for records. I know, I could definitely use it for the Intaloopa stuff as well, and also the Goro side of things as well. Like, I actually was digging with Tony in this antique store in Lura called the Emporium, and we were just digging, and I found this awesome 1970s yoga record where it was just a guy. He was an instructor, and talking about yoga, but it was a little bit more hippie-ish and a little bit more spiritual. And I actually sampled that on the second track of the Derealization EP, the song called Electric.
And everything is vibrating on the same level. The sound of this vibration is chanting or listening to the Om brings relaxing effects to the mind. Let's all chant Rio.
Yeah, one thing to kind of pick up and roll on through what you just mentioned there about sampling, I guess your approach, and though you talked about it a little bit there, but sometimes it is really kind of dependent on genre. Like you said, hip hop. Like it all stemmed from the breakbeat approach. You take the breakbeat, build the track around that. And then in electronic, there's all these different ways of using sampling. And like you say, you're going through crate digging and digging through vinyls and that, but you've also got the tool of the computer and this vast internet of things to sample from. How do you find sampling?
We're, I guess, living in a time now where anything can be sampled and manipulated quite easy. Whereas in the past, it was a little bit more of a, longer process. But so sampling to me is just like another way of adding color to your track. Like primarily in Ableton is where I do most of my writing, and Ableton has a lot of kind of plug-in versions based off old sampling hardware. So in that, it has still the same kind of aesthetic of applying filters and then also being able to chop it up. It has the ability to create something original. You're practically taking someone else's hard work, and then you can just easily just turn it into something else and make that sound unrecognizable. So it's to me, I find it it's interesting. I love it. I can't explain why I love it. It's just I guess sometimes, because I'm not classically trained as well, I pretty much learned music by myself. I did have lessons, but I think that's the basis of sampling as well. It's I guess it's where it started from, more so in America. In the black communities, sampling was a necessity for them because in their schools they had no money for music schooling, and like they had no instruments or anything in there. So sampling was born out of, I guess, a necessity to express themselves. So I guess I have a bit of that in me. Whereas it's I find it makes me sound better sometimes. It's there's definitely a weird art form to it.
guess I just wonder about how you kind of decide to implement a sample as well. Because sometimes, we're talking in hip hop terms, you kind of want to build something out of the sample, but then with your Intaloopa stuff and the electronics, you're kind of just dropping in a light sample there on top of the bed of your work. How do you decide on those samples?
It's just more of things that just randomly pop into my head as I'm writing the song. So like particularly for the opening track on the EP, a song called Memories in Blue. I've got a sample in there and it's just basically a computer generated voice saying Memories in Blue. And how I acquired that was actually through my MacBook. MacBook has like a speech translator on there, so you're able to just type something out and just say word, highlight the text, and pick various voices to pronounce the words. That's something that I've been experimenting a lot. So it's just more just random things that pop into my head. It's just random ideas just drop in, and I guess because I have the knowledge and how to implement it as well. It's just more so simple things like that. On my first single, Remote Control, when time came to pick a sample, for some reason I was just the thought popped into my head. It's just like, because I'm a big Synth-Wave fan, and I had for this song, I was picturing a high pitched vocal, and automatically I thought of Synth-Wave, and I was digging through my record collection, and I couldn't actually find the Synth-Wave record I was looking for, but I came across my wife's old Kylie Minogue album, so I just ended up just going through that. So recorded that in off my record player into Ableton, and then loaded it up into the sampler and just pitched it. Hope Kylie Minogue's not listening. I run everything via MIDI, and then also the audio goes through my Tascam mixer into my Universal Audio sound card. I try not to use any plugin-based synths. I like the sound of the hardware. I find it has a more thicker sound and more, emotive type sound, whereas I guess the computer-generated synths, they're just too thin. It's definitely a hybrid, whereas I do sequence all the drums in Ableton. I'm using Ableton in that sense, but primarily all the synths are coming from the own hardware. It's just something about the sound. It's more thicker. You can tell. I can tell is like when you listen to something, it's the sound is being generated from a plug-in based synth.
Everything is vibrating.
It's definitely an online based scene. Yes, since I started Intaloopa, I've only played one official Intaloopa gig, and then the rest has just basically just been releasing stuff online, communicating with other like-minded producers via like Facebook groups and SoundCloud. So it's tricky. It's I want to go out there and perform this music, but I guess the scene in Australia isn't quite there yet. More so, there's definitely a scene with the hip-hop community and the electronic music community, but Synth-Wave, it's on the edge elsewhere, where it's not many people know about it, and I guess not many people do want to know about it, because I guess in a lot of people's eyes the 80s was an era that they would like to forget. So it's hard to yeah. So it's hard to find that the live music aspect of it. So yeah, primarily I'm just doing stuff, releasing stuff online, and yeah, communicating via Facebook groups and stuff. Eventually, I would love to do a full Intaloopa show, but now with COVID and things like that, it's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
What's the process of building the live show?
Yeah, basically once the song is finished, I then kind of deconstruct it, I break it up into pieces, and then within Ableton, I then load it into different slots. There's the live view and performance view in Ableton. So basically what I might do, bounce out the drums by themselves, the bass by itself, and the synth, and then the samples. So they're all on their own dedicated channel. So from there, I'm able to manipulate the sounds more, like adding in more delay, more reverb, filters. So that's why I'd like to have it split over possibly like 8 different tracks. And then from there is basically not trying to stay true to the original song. It's like, it's definitely, it moves into a space where I want to kind of make it a little bit different, extend different sections, and basically, yeah, just like write or perform a completely different version of the song. But still, you know, it still sounds like the song because you're working with the loops and everything. But yeah, so it's something that won't sound the same twice. It's definitely an enjoyable experience, like, you know, cutting up each section into like 4-bar loops, pretty much just taking it wherever the performance is going and manipulating it with, yeah, as I said before, delays, reverbs, and filters.
Everything is vibrating.
Intaloopa for me is definitely more of touching on the sadder side of things in my life. Like with my previous EP, Traveling While Sleeping, that was pretty much all about my father because he recently passed away from cancer. The music on there is pretty much a tribute to him. Yeah, I'm more on the emotional side of things. I think the nostalgia, it's weird. It's probably just like it's me personally. I know other Synth-Wave producers are more about, you know, a little bit more energetic, upbeat kind of Outrun style, you know, that old computer game Outrun. Yeah, it's all different. But for me personally, it's more touching on just more sadness in a way. I mean, I hate to sound like I'm a really depressed person. I'm not, but it's just more those it's just more the memories for me. I'm not one for change, and change upsets me, and, you know, wishing I was younger still, or just, yeah, wishing for simpler times, you know, pre-internet era and stuff. So I guess when I write for Intaloopa, I'm definitely searching for a feeling and a memory, just to express myself, just to I guess just to portray what I'm feeling. And I try not to make it sound too sad, but I think I definitely want the listener to feel something, my music to attach something to one of their feelings. You know, I don't want them to cry or anything, or anything like that, but just take the listener away somewhere and possibly ponder on something from their life, their past. Who knows? I might change and start adding in some major chords and make something a little bit more happier. But yeah, to me, it's just more on the, you know, the sadder type things. Just like whereas, you know, Memories in Blue, you know, some of my titles, it's just like, yeah, I want to kind of paint more of a shadier type picture. being part of like all the Facebook groups, the Synth-Wave Facebook groups, so you definitely see, you know, the broader spectrum of it all. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of people, really try and portray the 80s to a T, where it's identical in a way. And to me, that doesn't, I can't do that, because I've never been one to copy something. And the reason why, like, I mean, I try to copy something, but it never comes out identical. Some people can do it really well. Some people can copy something and then have it sound and look like the original, but I've never been able to do that. And then I guess in that way, I stand out a little. Like I have, so then my music does have some similarities to a genre, but because I'm not good at being a copycat, myself comes out in that way. And I definitely see myself in the synthwave scene is someone that's possibly pushing the envelope a little bit in a different direction. I'm not sticking to a playbook. I'm not like, it's like, this has to be like this, and because such and such did this, and these are the rules. I kind of like to go a little bit left and have a little bit more of myself in there, because I think it just becomes boring after a while, and it becomes too predictable. It's like I listen to a lot of local, or I guess more international, local-based releases, and all the songs just sound the same. It's just everyone's just following the same playbook, and it becomes a little bit boring. So I try and mix it up, but then I guess in my that could be a downfall for me, where I'm not playing the game. So, but for me, I guess that's my personal taste. I've always been a little bit an individual, and not really one to follow, I guess, the rules in a way. I guess it's pretty punk rock of me and stuff, it's just, I like to be an individual and just make my own rules. So that's where I think I I fit in the synthwave scene.
With the internet, it has seemed to kind of bring these genres. I mean, like you said before, vaporwave was kind of born out of the internet, but then like the internet has kind of helped to bring these genres kind of back to light and kind of reintroduce people, bring about kind of new forms of these old genres. So like, I mean, like YouTube, has done this thing where it's kind of brought the lo-fi production thing into it. Or, if you've gone down a rabbit hole on YouTube, you've probably come across the city pop side of YouTube. How do you find the internet, and kind of like how has it helped, I guess, develop the sound, but also kind of develop the genre?
It's definitely played an important role, I guess, with synthwave, and I guess all artists really, especially, I mean, I don't know how it is around the world, but particularly in Australia, there's not many avenues for musicians to express themselves. I guess I'm talking like, the bigger kind of guys like at Triple J and stuff, like they have their set target audience age group. So if you don't really fall into that criteria, it becomes quite hard to, I guess, be an artist and have a career, if you'd say, if you wanted a career in music. So you have to start looking for other avenues, other directions to go, rather than relying on Triple J to make it in this country. So that's where the internet helps. It's definitely helped me a lot with Intaloopa, because when I stopped writing and releasing music as Waza, I was basically starting from scratch again. I thought I wouldn't, but I was literally, stage one, like had nothing. So my following definitely spread and built up because of the internet, and it was just more so communicating with other like-minded producers online, and then also just communicating with fans of mine as well, like through particular avenues like SoundCloud. If I noticed someone reshared my song, I would make sure I sent them a message saying, hey, thanks for sharing my music. And then also just communicating with people on these Facebook groups as well, like a thing that they've recently done. The admins of these pages, it's like a little game. You drop your Instagram page in there, and everyone has to follow each other. So you gain your fan base through things like that. Dropping in your Spotify link, and so I guess it's more of building a community online, I guess, with people that you don't really know. And it's quite ironic actually with the scene, it's, Synth-Wave, is all about the 80s aesthetic, computers and video games, and it's quite funny. We all communicate via a computer as well. We're trapped in the machine, and we communicate that way.
Interesting. It's like this kind of online thing that's kind of been birthed out of media in a bit. Like, I mean, what was the biggest thing like in 2015 when what's that show? Stranger Things kind of came out, and then this whole kind of 80s revival thing started popping up again.
Yeah. Well, that's it. It's with that show in particular, that was kind of the catalyst to give it that seal of approval again. For me, that was kind of like not the deal breaker to give this project the green light, but it was more so like a how do you say, just like an approval for me, like to what I was thinking all those years leading up to producing this 80s style music, because I was listening to vaporwave and other synthwave acts before Stranger Things came out. But yeah, when that show came out, it definitely greenlit everything. And guess other the spotlight was on that kind of genre again. But for me as well, like there was also this awesome short movie called Kung Fury that was released over 10 years ago. It's this guy, I think from Germany. He filmed this movie in his basement on a green screen, and he did an amazing job. And it was actually a Kickstarter program, and he wanted to do a big feature film, but he didn't get enough money, so he was only able to produce half an hour movie, a short movie. And basically, it's similar to Stranger Things. It's like where it's just like a amalgamation of everything from the 80s. It's just like when you watch this show, like you can just like it's pretty much all the big cliches from the 80s, like with the cop who had a dad and he was the best darn cop ever, and then his son is trying to avenge his death, and just like all these kind of big cliches. And that's when I look at Stranger Things as well. Like I just think about Goonies, E.T., all the kind of the best bits of the 80s. And yeah, so I enjoy it. But the downside of it is just like every time I show someone my music, they go Stranger Things. It's just, yeah, I know, yeah. But it wasn't. I'm not just inspired by Stranger Things. Yeah, so that's a little bit of the downside. But I guess it's come into popular culture now, and I think it's definitely greenlit. The new Bill and Ted's movie. I'm pretty sure that script was lying around for a long time. So definitely that got greenlit because of the I guess the revival of it, and everything now is so 80s. And it's, you know, in fashion and art. Yeah, it's becoming popular. And also that artist, what's his name? The Weeknd, he had a really big popular song a few months ago, and it was very synthwave, the beat wise and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely growing, and the commercial side of things are starting to take notice, but I think there's still a long way to go in terms of building the live music scene. I'm currently I'm currently obsessed with buying vinyl at the moment. I need to stop. I need to stop buying vinyl because vinyl isn't cheap. So the last piece of music that I purchased was Jay Dilla's Donuts. I copped that. Jimi Hendrix's Axis Boulder's Love album. I got that on vinyl. I got the mono mix of that, so it's not stereo, so it's mono. Beastie Boys, Ill Communication. I'm very 90s as well. I'm 80s and I'm 90s. But other Comtrues, he's like probably like the one pretty much holding the flag for synthwave. Yeah, I think he's from Canada, I think. So yeah, he's a really amazing synthwave artist. Been listening to him. A lot of Soundgarden, Chris Cornell. 80s as well. I had the Karate Kid soundtrack in my car at the moment because I've been watching Cobra Kai. Been listening to the first Karate Kid motion picture soundtrack. What else? Heaps of stuff. Local music. My friend Tony, he's in a group called Bomb Threat. They just released a vinyl called Come Ride With Us. So I've been listening to that. Yeah, lots. I can be here all day.
The track you just heard was Memories in Blue by Intaloopa. You also heard Electric and Rise Again off the Derealization EP. For more information on Warren's work, head to our website, cassetteconnection.com. Ben Harb, you have something you wanted to say?
My name is Ben Harb, and I'm here to say, yes, I do have something to say. Thank you. And what I have to say is that was a great interview. I thought that was a really interesting interview, a really insightful interview into a world that I really don't have that much to do with. Not really that much to be part of. It's a world where, like I think we kind of nailed home in the interview, it's a world that kind of really exists online and kind of online only at the moment. But I think, you know, once these things kind of develop online, they end up making it into the world, the real world. I also find it really interesting. Like it's incredible that these things are kind of born out of the platform that they are started on. Like, Vaporwave, this kind of ex-SoundCloudy, ex-YouTubey thing. MS Paint thing, yeah, exactly. Doing all the graphic design in MS Paint and basically just making the music out of like slowing down the records. It's all really interesting. It's
the world we live in.
Exactly. And I want to thank Warren for coming on the show, for getting in touch with us, and for being so open and personal with us. So that was a really great interview. It's great to know where the music is coming from. And I want to thank you, the listener, for listening. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe, hit a follow, hit like, subscribe on YouTube, put a comment.
Shut up.
Anywhere you find the recording of this podcast, subscribe. That would be greatly appreciated. And share it with your friends. But until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.
Cassette Connection is recorded and produced by Ben Harb and Alex Ferrugia. For more information, head to our website, cassetteconnection.com.
You can follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Cassette Connection. And if you would like to be featured or just want to get in touch, our email is contact@cassetteconnection.com.